Bingo, we are live. And good evening. This is Andre Sanders down here in Jacksonville, Florida, of overcoming the odds of well, it was supposed to be a hurricane down here. As of right now, Hurricane Herman, but it was the weakest hurricane probably in the history of
Odds of
Jacksonville. Jacksonville,
supposed to be a
Florida's
hurricane down here as of right now.
it's echoing, but it's the weakest hurricane that we've had come through here. So all's good. I thought electricity might go out, but these guys got me backed up. So without any further ado, we're going to take out real quick to California.
Hey guys, this is Patricia Henry, as you guys know. Yes, it's beautiful and sunny out here. There's no hurricanes. We do have what they call dust devils, though, and the reason why we've had a lot, people were videotaping them were in my area, and they were thinking, oh no, it's another fire flare-up, because about 2 weeks ago, we just had a huge fire roll through this area, and as the wind blows it makes circles, and we see people capturing these mini dust devils, and they're thinking it's another fire. Or, well, we don't get hurricanes here, we just get those little things, they blow over, last for a little bit, and then they disappear. So all is well out here.
Hey, Ron Neil Henson here from the UK, currently 11 p.m. my time, and no hurricanes over here as well, but usually we get the crap weather. We usually get very bad rain, very cold weather, but it seems that roles have been reversed because we've got beautiful weather at the moment. I'm actually in a t-shirt and I've got no heating on, which is usually surprising because even for this time of year, my heating could still be on because it's usually that cold. But we're okay at the moment, so yeah, no hurricanes over here, so maybe just you, Andre.
Awesome, man. Well, we want to get into the topic, though, almost forgot to mention, which is the 5 keys to success. And, it's kind of funny. We always have to talk about business, but if you pay attention to this, it really happens more than this business. It happens in any aspects of life. So pay attention if you notice some of these keys. It's funny because, people might say there might be 3, 4. There's so many different ways to success. But I mean, this is one of those things that you got to follow and try to model somebody who's reached where you're trying to go. And this is something that we were to pick up from an event here well over a month ago from it was a couple of leaders of our community that were on stage. So, same kind of disclaimer below, because I'm not mistaken, they're 6-figure earners as well, or if not very close within the community. And the thing is, obviously results not typical, but obviously it's very possible as far as we choose to apply these steps or these keys, however we want to put them. The first thing first, again, doesn't matter if it's life, business, you want to start a new relationship, whatever you want to do, make a decision. We can go basically the whole night with that point right then and there. It's kind of funny. This is something that I know that Neil likes to talk about. This guy a lot too. Tony Robbins mentions as far as having a breakthrough, whatever. Not saying breakthroughs or decisions are the same thing, but it's always in that moment of time. Talking about a breakthrough now, not a decision. It's always that moment of time. Doesn't matter what you went through in your past, how many hours, weeks, months, whatever, minutes. It's always that one particular moment you just say, okay, no, I'm going to make the decision right now. That's where you start just going to make a decision. It's really simple. Now, the thing is, obviously, there's a lot of stuff behind that you have to do once you do make that decision. But the first things first, you got to decide. And I was about to go into number 2 real quick, but again, because 2 and 1 can go the same thing. But again, it's not really any particular order, but that's the number 1 thing. Make a decision. You can tell very easily a lot of people in today's society that undecided a lot of stuff. They follow the crowd. They're doing whatever their buddy is doing, whatever the crowd's doing. And unfortunately, that's why they're stuck in a 95 percentile and above as far as, the drifters. As Napoleon Hill called them an outwitting double. Basically just going through the motions of life, going to something that they maybe going to work that they hate. Maybe they have a traditional business that they own that they hate to run or whatever, or always complaining about something, and it's unfortunate. They haven't really decided, okay, I'm going to go ahead and actually just go and do this, that's it, period. Other than this, again, going through the motions of life and this basically, nonchalant throughout the rest of your life. And then by the time you get to an older age, you're like, man, what the world did I do with my life? Not saying that even if you are at an older age that you still can't make a decision. I'm not saying that, but the thing is, you got to make some type of decision. You know, unfortunately, we have good and bad ones, but we're not leaning toward the bad. We're leaning toward more as far as the positive side, as far as what it is that you want to do. So something to keep in mind as far as that too, because that's the number one thing. You gotta decide. I mean, again, don't be beating around the bush. Like soon I'm gonna push it. I'll do that. Get around to it. Procrastinate on it. No. What are you choosing to do? So that's something that's number one that's to really think about. I don't know if you guys have anything say to go any further with that as well.
Yeah, the whole point to making a decision is for basically when you make that decision, you don't look back. And when the biggest reason why we make that decision, especially when we're making a drastic change, is because we are fed up with the current situation we're in. So whether it's you're currently in a business that's struggling and you go, you know what, I've had enough of this, I'm doing something else. And then you make a decision in the moment because you want to make a difference. You want to start doing things differently. You don't want to be where you're currently at. And yet what will happen often enough, and I've explained this a few times, where it's almost like I like to draw it as a semicircle. So basically you start here and then you'll start moving along. So this is where ultimately you want to get, but you'll get to almost where you want to be, whether you're putting in new routines or you're basically setting out new daily habits or whatever it is you want to do, and you'll get there, and then eventually you'll think this is too hard, and you'll start going back to your old ways. So it's like you just go back to the starting point, and with that you can often do it without even realizing. You'll do something or you won't do something, and you'll suddenly just fall back into old habits. So let's say, for example, you say that you're going to get up and go for a run before work every single morning, and then one particular time you think, you know what, I'm a bit tired, I've worked, I've done it every single day this week, so I'm going to give it one day a miss. Now that one day has now changed your routine. So then the next day it becomes easier to do what? Get up or stop in bed. Remember, the body and the mind does the path of least resistance. So it's whichever one is the easiest to do. Unless you've got that unbelievable drive to change that habit and continue doing what you want to do, inevitably what you're trying to set out to do, you're going to fall back into your old habits. And what I've said is you need to recognize when you're falling into that old habit, and you need to just keep going. So if you set out a daily habit to get up and run, when you realize that the moment you feel that you just don't want to do it because you feel that you're too tired or something else needs doing, that's when you've got to realize you're falling back into the whole old habit. So you're putting off doing the very thing you say you want to do because of apparently other things that need doing. But all you're doing is pretty much trying to procrastinate because you feel that you're trying. For me, being blunt, you're making excuses. And that is when you're putting yourself back into the old routine and you're going down the previous path that you did. And if you do that, you're just going to find yourself back in however much time in the future saying exactly the same thing. What you need to do is make that decision, stick to that decision, and continue to persist no matter how hard it is. Because remember, things are always going to be harder before they get easier. You push through that pain barrier, you just push past it. Who knows, maybe that one time, if you got out of bed that final time, that will be implanted in you to basically say, you know what, this is the new change, and regardless of how I feel, no matter how much time I have, no matter what, I'm going to do this because this is what I've decided to do. And once you've made that decision, you need to stick to it, and you need to do it no matter what. And eventually, it does get easier. It just becomes normal. At first, it doesn't feel normal because it's new, and that's when the challenge is. It's because your mind is like, I don't know what I'm doing here, and it's almost like you start feeling overwhelmed. And when we feel overwhelmed, we want to go back to what feels normal or what feels comfortable. And what you need to do is persist with the uncomfortableness, because eventually that uncomfortableness turns into normality. No matter what it is, it could be something as extreme as like working right up high. You know, if you was a steeplejack or something, or you're working on a building site, working 20, 30 floors up, it'll be daunting at first, but eventually even walking around, that will just become normal because we adapt to our surroundings very, very quickly. You just need to persist with the decision and just keep going with whatever it is you set out to do, and just make sure that you make sure you get done whatever it is you need to do. And eventually that new habit will get you somewhere, wherever it is you want to go, and you just need to give it time to actually see the results.
You know what's funny with all that he just shared? It's no different from I just saw this. It's no different from this right here. This is exactly what he just mentioned. Here's your plan right here. Here's what you decide, but this is the reality of it. You know, so you're gonna have
Exactly.
your ups and downs.
And
Right. That's the truth.
usually, where that ship is when it's coming back up, that is usually at the point where most people will go back to the start again, because that's a massive slope, and people don't want to climb that slope. But if they did, look, it's just what on the other side.
Yeah, but you know it's also so true, and that we kind of both kind of already mentioned this already. As far as the second point is have the end in mind, even though your plan, which is number two, even though your plan is right there, and you're right, as far as shoot, sometimes even before you even get to this ship, some people will give up right there. The first part, but when you have the end in mind, and when you just chosen to make the decision and say, you know what, I'm gonna have this end in mind, I'm gonna just go ahead about and do this. It's basically getting clear as far as what you want. You say, okay, you made the decision. This is what you want to do. Now it gets real. Now get crystal clear as far as little steps. Neil brought up set up good habits. Some people like to have like a vision board, or have your end of mind written down. Have your goal written down, or maybe say it to yourself daily, maybe in the morning or at night. Napoleon Hill has in Think and Grow Rich. As far as major definite purpose and a self-confidence formula. Something that he also mentioned too. You can repeat it once or twice in the day. Repeat as many times as you want. The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. He has something too. It's a little bit different, but it's still as far as something that you can say to yourself. You can choose to as far as repeating what your purpose is. So those are just a couple suggestions. Just to always remind yourself. Okay, if I start these good habits, I can get to that end of mind. As we just shared, as far as it's going to be ups and downs. So be it. But I think that Jim Rome said it best. It's not so much getting to the goal, but it's who you become in the process of reaching the goal. So that's another cool thing to keep in mind as well. At first, since we are we are impatient beings these days, we want everything like right now. But it is a process. And you just gotta accept it, whether you like it or not. So obviously, again, we're not leaning toward the negative, we're leaning toward the positive side as far as it's going to be helping you become a better you in the process. So something just to also keep in mind as well. I don't know if you guys have anything else to add on with that.
Well, I was going to say, in making decisions, sometimes it's hard to make decisions because it's fear of the unknown, so to speak. We don't know what it is we're making a decision on, and it is important to maybe do research, find out what it is that you have to do in order to make that decision. When you are buying a house, for instance, some people find that scary. Oh my God, I got to buy a house, but yet that's the American dream, to purchase a house. And it's also for an investment. How can you do so successfully in whatever you do? Because we know that Robert Kiyosaki is, even in his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he was saying that having a house is a liability. It's not an asset until you decide what you're going to do with that house. Are you going to live in it, or are you going to take that house and make it profitable? So you could say, well, I can live in an apartment, buy a house, and rent it out. And if, of course, those decisions are going to have to be up to you, what you want to do with the house. Because if you're not a handyman and you can't go in, and if there's repairs and things like that, and you don't have a budget to hire somebody to do that yourself, then it is going to be a cost to you out of pocket. So everything that you do in life has a decision-making factor. If you're going to start a new entrepreneurial business, what are the risks? What are the factors of starting a business? But whatever it is, again, it's going to also be a mind shift. what is the end goal? Do you want this? What do you want it for? What do you want to do with it? So making decisions are important, and sticking by them, seeing them to fruition. What you're going to accomplish at the end, or what is the end result? So for us being online marketers, the end result is it's not just about making money, as we said. That is a goal. That's why we're in business. But it's also we have something to share with other people so that they can make a decision for their own lives, to better their own lives.
Yeah, there is one more final thing I'll say as well, because when the going gets tough, you've got to find something that's going to push you through. And often enough, same as what Andre says, if you can read out your actual purpose, whatever it is that you're trying to do, but on top of that, who is it that you're doing it for? A lot of people will be doing this because they want to help their family, or they want to spend more time with their family, or whatever it is. What is the ultimate reason that you are doing this? And if that is your strong point, that is basically what fires you up, what gets you up in the morning, then that will be enough to actually push you through the hard times. So anytime you have self-doubt of thinking, I can't do this, or you don't feel like you don't want to do the things that you know you need to do, and you've fallen into that procrastination stage, that's when you need to be looking at reading out your daily purpose, and also who it is that is ultimately going to impact. So is it your kids? Is it your parents? Is it your siblings? Is it your partner, wife, husband? Whoever it is, it could be absolutely anyone, but it's someone that is super close to you, and they're the one who's going to truly benefit. And then picture in mind how it would feel actually already accomplishing it, and then telling that person, and then how you would feel, because that is ultimately what's going to re-fire you back up, and you're going to want to go push through again and persevere, because you're going to want to get to that goal. But it has to be something that it has to hit you here, has to get you fired up. And if it doesn't, then you have got the wrong plan, because that plan's not going to take you forward. But hopefully, if it's anything to do with family, siblings, parents, husband, wife, that should be enough in itself. But maybe what you can do with once you have the time, maybe that on top of it, I don't know. Each person to their own, but you've got to have it linked to something that really fires you up. There's something that you really want to do, because that's what's going to push you through when the hard times come. And there will be hard times, because that's the inevitable part in life. No matter how great someone's life is, there'll be a lot of pain that they're about to overcome, a lot of obstacles, a lot of barriers. And this is no different. Just because you see somebody enjoying the high life, that doesn't mean to say that they haven't had any low points. So just bear in mind, perseverance is absolutely critical.
Yeah, that is so true. As far as again, it's added on as far as being crystal clear of what it is that you want, and also like you just mentioned, as far as who you're doing it for. A lot of people, Patricia mentioned, like to talk about the monetary needs. That's fine, but it's always okay. What would you do if you had the money? As far as breaking it down, it's another thing too. Robert Kiyosaki's mentioned several times in his Rich Dad books, as far as knowing your expenses too, and then having your assets build up, your investments, so they could cover those expenses, so you can just work toward financial freedom. So that also goes down to being real crystal clear as far as okay, if I'm making this much passive income or whatever, and have this much in expenses, even if you work to make the expenses drop down expenses or whatever, but you're working that just building your assets as well, your asset column, and the passive expenses, that's when you get financial freedom as well. You can find out more by playing his game, cash flow game online. I do all the time, so that's how I'm able to kind of break down too as far as that. Another cool thing too, as far as now getting to the third point, is working together as a team. If you're a business owner, you know how important this is. It doesn't matter if you have a board of directors or you have the janitor. You got to work together as a team. That's when when it comes down to business, it's a team sport. I've been playing team sports since I was 14. So I've been playing American football since I was high school, college, now semi-pro, and it's always been a team sport. It's the ultimate team sport as far as I know playing out being an offensive lineman. You make one mistake. I know this from experience in the offense. It doesn't matter if it's a receiver, if it's on a run block. If he's loping around, guess what? That will mess up the whole play. And no different in business. As far as everybody has to be basically going in just one accord. So one thing that I learned through one of the products that about a year and a half ago from a top marketer David Wood. He mentioned this in I think it was the top producer formula or the mass influence formula. I can't remember, but you're not any better or worse than anyone. Once you have that in the back of your mind, it doesn't matter who you approach. If it's a CEO or, again, like I mentioned, the janitor or the garbage man or whatever, as far as everybody's in an equal playing field. I mean, you got to put the clothes on the same way, So that's something to also keep in mind as far as everybody has to work together and just trying to accomplish one agenda. Now, of course, there's some examples as far as, being I hate to say it, but it's true, being a loner, like golf. It's a lonely sport, but guess what? If you're going to learn to really work in your game, you might have to go get a coach, get a caddy. So in a sense, you're still getting somebody to help you out as, again, working together as a team. So, again, that is also crucial in any parts of life. And two, almost forgot one more other thing, too. And, again, Napoleon Hill mentioned this, I think, in The Law of Success, or I think it was Think and Grow Rich. If you are married watching this, as far as having a mastermind, the most important person is your spouse, as far as working together. We can talk about business or whatever, but if you are married, I'm sorry, that is your number one partner, what it is. They might not agree as far as what you do as far as business or whatever, but guess what? There is some kind of support. So, again, that's something that I never mentioned before, but it's very true as far as getting underway. My goodness.
Well, I was going to bring that one up because I know neither of you young men are married. So marriage is definitely important. And in marriage, there's two keys to success. Obviously, love and communication. Those two are the catalyst to all the other keys in a marriage. But again, you can apply love in almost any situation, because if you love the passion of your job, of what you're doing, you're going to have that carry over to your teammates, right, or your workmates. And we see how miserable people can be when they have a boss that the boss maybe doesn't love what they're doing or even love his business or the job. He just, enslaves his workers, and everybody's miserable. And they're there stealing under his nose, or, he can't figure out why his business is not working smoothly. Well, the same thing with marriage, the same thing with anything. It has to be where not only, of course, if you have and you own a company, your employees cannot be equal to you, but in a marriage, it should be 100%. The husband gives 100%, the wife gives 100%. But if everybody had that mindset when they're doing their job, no matter where they're in position in the company, everything would run smoothly and it could be successful. There's not going to be any cogs in the wheel that are stuck. Everybody is going to try to do their best, like you said, from the top CEO to the janitor. And if the janitor does a good job, who knows? He could get a decent bonus and a raise and you're always going to be a janitor because, how can you get accolades for sweeping the floor? You can if you do a really good job. But again, teamwork makes the dream work, as they say, that old, quote. But it's really true in all aspects of life, So for me, working together, like us, again, here, we've brought this up on our other Hangouts. We have a team. Sometimes we message each other after the Hangout to find out, okay, what are you doing? What are you doing? Is this working for you, or is that working for you? We help each other. So that builds trust in each other, and we know that we can call it on each other for help if we need it.
Yeah, and that is, I think it's also, for me, it's also a nice peace of mind as well. from at least from a guy's perspective, you know, it's very, very difficult if you've got a partner who you know is not supportive of what you do, because you just wouldn't want to. You would feel you wouldn't want to really. I wouldn't quite say you wouldn't want to be around that person, but you wouldn't want to be working. You'd get put off working, and you'd find yourself falling into a negative path if you was living with that person and they didn't approve of what you were doing, because every single time you went up to do your work, it could lead to rows
and it has to be a mutual respect, Neil,
exactly.
for that person to. They may not can understand what you're doing because it's not their passion, but they have to if they love you, they have to respect what you're doing. And most people who get married, if they find themselves in a situation where the person is, you know, he's negative or she's negative against that, somehow they just have to work it out. Again, that's where communication comes in.
Yeah.
And again, that's trusting your partner, because like, I want the best for my husband, and I'm praying that he wants the best for me, because my ultimate goal, if I'm successful in business, I don't go out and share it with everybody else. The first person, I share it with my husband. You know, I share my successes and my goals, and then, you know, maybe I'll post something online that for everyone else to see. But ultimately, even people around me, if I'm successful, I'm the kind of person, I want to share that with everyone. You know, if I made $1 million right now, I would want to help you, and I would want to help Andre. I would want to help, you know, people who are around me. I'm not a selfish kind of a person. So, and of course my family first, but if a person is in need, like when people say, I don't ever give to anybody. This might be something, this is kind of maybe off topic, but, you know, when there's beggars around and stuff like that, I don't give people off the street. I just give to people that I know who have a genuine need, because I know them. I know what their needs are because I've established a relationship with them. And I know that if I give to them, they will know what to do with whatever I'm going to give them for the betterment of their lives. And knowing that if they want to go and give to somebody who is in need, that's up to them. But I know that I can give them the means of life to help themselves, you know. Sorry, I kind of got off subject, but that's what business to me is all about. That's why I said it's not the money, but again, it's a tool to be able to help my surrounding friends and family.
Now, one other thing I had to add on too, because since we're talking about, you know, working together, and it's very true and it's essential for business as well. Even, and doesn't matter what type of business, online, offline, traditional. You know, that's why it's also crucial when you're going to conferences, seminars, you know, hang around like-minded people as well, because, you know, the funny thing is, it rubs off of you. You know, people if you're in the offline network marketing or online, or, you know, online marketing, you go to a conference, it rubs off on you, obviously, what you've done with that conference. Now, if you're hanging around like-minded people too, like consistently, it rubs off of them. And I know I saw a video not too long ago from Gary Vaynerchuk, who's an entrepreneur himself, and he's mentioned that as well, as far as I think it was another business partner, as far as like when he first met him, like he didn't have the same like competitiveness and the same type of energy as he does, and it kind of rubs off of him. And then Gary also mentioned something about his wife, and it's funny. It's like he mentioned, he's like, you know, it's funny how so much similar his wife is with him, and he mentioned that because as far as, you know, you hang around with each other, you're gonna pick up on certain things though as well. And I noticed as well too with us as well. These guys know, like, I'm like a laser as far as being consistent, trying to get certain stuff done in a particular day, and it kind of rubs off on them too, like no different than when we're doing these hangouts weekly. I know it's like, okay, I'm coming, I am coming. And, you know, it's funny because if you talk to anybody outside of, like, it kind of hangs around me for a good bit, even outside of business as well, the same way. If you talk to some of my teammates, they know I'm the same way. In practice or whatever, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? I'm working on my craft too. You see me at work, guess what? The same way. I'm the same way. I'm laughing and joking, but it goes back to what we mentioned earlier. I got the end in mind. I've already made my decision, and it's going to rub off you whether you like it or not. Hopefully in a positive way, but I mean, if people don't like it, so be it. To each their own. But guess what? It's like I'm coming because, we got something better at the end. So that's something also that's it's going to happen too. And again, Patricia, there's better than Neil and I as far as it happens more so in marriages as well. It rubs off of you as far as this person's like, okay, they got something going. It's like, even like you just mentioned earlier, they might not understand. They might, let's say it's a misunderstanding at first, but eventually they'll be like, oh, okay, this person's not playing around. Like, well, heck no, they're not playing around. It got somewhere to go.
My husband is totally supportive of what I do. He wasn't at first, but he had to be educated towards that. And then once I made that decision, as we talked about in the beginning, that this is what I was going to do, or this was going to be my mode of making money online, not going to a job, just over broke job. That was my decision. He was all for it. So he supports me and fully supports me in doing what I do.
And that's why we mentioned earlier, as far as it begins really at home. People are talking about working together before we start talking about the rest of the parts of your life. When again, just many business or whatever things. Now, another good thing to keep in mind too. This is something I learned from Eric Ward. This goes down to number 4, who's the owner of Network Marketing Pro, is having a sense of urgency. I learned this big time when I was in offline network marketing a few years ago, as far as like, hey, I got something to show you. You got to come see this. So it's like, hey, what is a good time for you? Morning or evening? Okay, 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. Having a sense of urgency, like, hey, let's go. I mean, think about it this way now. Would you rather be talking to somebody that, okay, lack and trust right now, or let's say if you do know lack and trust this person a few years down the road, they're very successful, and then you're like, hey, what about, you're still working in the business that you're talking about, but you can't reach them because guess what? You should have gotten them right then and there. It's that having that sense of urgency is like, hey, let's go. You got to see this right now. In the online world, it's kind of funny because what do we have? This thing kind of timer as far as ticking away, the scarcity. And I don't want to say in a sense, it is. It's true as far as like, okay, we're having this up, and it's only going to be up for this amount of time. Or if not, it's gone forever. I've seen this also in other niches as well. Again, going back to what we mentioned him several times this evening, as far as Robert Kiyosaki, I've noticed this as well. Sometimes he's had some free ebooks online, and he has some. I know he's been doing it on Facebook as well. As far as like he has them up for maybe a few days, and then once he takes it off, it's done. So sense of urgency as far as like, let's go and watch this right now. Let's go and get to this immediately. So it's nothing to be playing around with. So also that's something to keep in mind too, as far as like, hey, we don't have time to wait. We got to get to this right now. It's not trying to push somebody over, but it's just to let you know as far as like, okay, we're not playing around. And if you try to approach them later down the road, and somebody has approached you for an opportunity, it's gone. I know. I love playing dumb with somebody. Oh, what are you talking about? It's done. It's over. Sorry. So that's another thing to also keep in mind too, when somebody is in business, or if you're in business yourself, as far as like, this is serious. You see this all the time in stores. We got a sale going on. Like, perfect example here in America. We got a Labor Day sale, and it'll last to that like Sunday. And then guess what? The day of Labor Day, it might be gone, or it might be maybe for a particular time of Labor Day, and then it's gone. So
that drives success too, because having that sense of urgency, or it's on sale now, you're driving traffic. You're driving people into your business because they know that if you've, of course, advertised it correctly and you've promoted it correctly, and then you do that scarcity for them, they're going to jump on and they're going to buy. And that's the whole thing about business. We want them to buy. And we really, really know that the psychology of people don't want to be left out, especially if it's a good deal. They're going to be there. I mean, look at the lines that happen at, like you said, the holidays. There's no lines around Labor Day. At least they haven't as far as I know, they haven't that kind of frenzy. But look what happens at Christmas. I mean, people are lined up to get that item that's on sale. And there are lines around the block. Sometimes people camp out for something that they really want. And that's one thing too. And we have a target audience that really wants what we have to offer them. We know that if we put that element of scarcity in there, they will buy because they know it's beneficial for them.
That is so true. And kind of funny talking about the sense of urgency, because guess what? Once you're working on that too, you let's say you basically get like little small deadlines as well with that, the sense of urgency. Now, for our last one, it's now celebrate those successes that you have. Every single type of success is a win. You can't beat yourself up too many times over not having a big success. Oh man, I didn't make the $10,000 in the day yesterday. What's going on? No. Don't worry about that. Celebrate every small success. Let's say if you're setting up an appointment with somebody and you're outbound network marketing. Guess what? They say yes. That is a win. You working online, you get your first lead. Guess what? That is a win. Maybe you put some content online as well. You get your first like. That is a win. That should be celebrated. Don't take this stuff for granted. Don't take it for granted. People were like, what's this phrase? You shoot for the star, shoot for the moon, and guess what? You might land the stars. Oh shucks, I didn't hit maybe a certain income goal, but I'm a little bit closer toward it, and also it helps me out a little bit financially, or whatever. You see what I'm saying? Just little stuff like that. You can brag about something like that as far as like, man, how I got 3 leads in a day, and whatnot, and just run with it. What I mean? Celebrate every success. I think Jim Rohn mentioned that too many years ago. As far as don't miss don't miss any of those types of success. Either Jim Rohn or Zig Ziglar, one or the other. But as far as celebrating those types of successes, any type of success. I know also too. Again, go back to my sport, football. Celebrated several successes as well. As far as like, I didn't play that much in high school and college, but it was kind of funny because when I started playing semi-pro, got to conference championship game with the team I was with my first 3 years in semi-pro. And it's funny because my first 2 years I was playing semi-pro, I had one more games my first 2 years than I did all 4 years in college. Talking about celebrating successes. Obviously, eventually down the road, I was fortunate to win championships with the team I'm a part of. The thing is, still should be celebrating those successes. You learn a new strategy. Sweet, go and share it. That's a success. That's a huge success. As Jim Rohn also said many years, study, practice, and teach. So now that you study something, you're practicing on your own, go teach it. Because guess what? Now you had a success. Now let's go help share to others. And maybe they can have their own they can possibly get their own breakthroughs as well with what you were able to learn. So something to keep in mind as well, as far as not beating yourself up, but just run with any type of success that you have.
That's true, Andre. I was going to say, to our audience, we just lost Neil. Neil was not feeling well, so he dropped off of our hangout here. Neil it's also what time? It's it's almost 12 o'clock. It's it's my time because I'm in California, 3:46. And he said he wasn't feeling good, so it's almost 12 o'clock for him. And he's been on medication. So, but you see what happened though? He came on. He had been missing a couple of our hangouts that he was not on. And when sickness happens, we don't expect to be at our full potential. But we celebrate the win. He was here today, right? And he did warn us that he wasn't feeling well. And a couple of months ago already, or actually last month, when I was driving up to San Francisco, and I didn't know for sure that I could even get onto the webinar, and you and Neil held it down for me, but I was going through mountains, but at least I got on until we lost connection. Now, those kind of things are technical. That's not my fault. That's the signal, satellite signal, cell signal, whatever. We can communicate with God anytime, but to try to communicate, Tehachapi Mountains, going up to San Francisco, that is a challenge. But nevertheless, we try. And again, that's a dirty word because try means failure. And you're already poisoning yourself to failure with that word. So we want to do, like Yoda says, was it in Star Wars? So we know that for us, when we celebrate every win we can get, that's important because it's showing that you're consistent, you have a consistency, and people will see that you're striving to have more success. And some people might think that, well, that's kind of prideful, or, you know, you're talking about yourself, or you're celebrating what you're doing. What is life? Life is a celebration. And if it's something positive, there's so much negative in the world. People, you know, make the news for killing 10 people, you know, or having a mass murder, or, you know, all of these things. We can celebrate the positive wins that we have in our lives, and especially in our businesses, because that is what is going to catalyst us to more success. We believe in the belief in ourselves. And of course, people who are following us, we put our successes and we broadcast them online. Like I said, it might seem prideful, but you look at sports teams like Andre. When you guys do well, that's wonderful. You get a trophy for yourself. And with that, look at the Oscars and the awards. Look at the Olympics that we just had. They celebrated their success. And what happens, people get endorsements from that. People can get commercial endorsements. They get monetary endorsements. And there's nothing wrong with that because, once again, it is a business. So for people that have the wrong mindset about celebrating your wins, you know, they just have to look at it from the viewpoint of what it can do for you when you do get that win, no matter how small it is or how large it is. That is something that should be put out there for all the masses to see. And look at Oprah Winfrey. Look at all, like Andre, you were talking about the people. They say, oh, well, that's a get rich quick scheme, or you hear when some actor or actress makes it. Where did they come from? Out of the blue? No. They probably have been in their garage or doing, you know, start off with a boy band in the garage, right? Or a girl band. Then they go to small nightclubs, do these small gigs. Then finally they get discovered. And then finally they make it after 10, 20, 30 years sometimes, you know. And then, of course, there are overnight successes, but they had to start off small. And each win, each thing that they did, you know, now we have social media where they can get on YouTube and they can get famous. They could get discovered that way. Like, who is it? Justin Bieber, you know, or however he was discovered, and many other people sending in a YouTube video on these, what are these shows like America's Got Talent or American Idol. So they had to start somewhere. And so should we as online entrepreneurs. Don't let anybody intimidate you if you put up there, or even like this, well, how much money did you make? Well, you know, sometimes you're starting out and you haven't made anything. So how do you celebrate your win? Like, again, we have this Google Hangout that we do. Celebrate your first video that you do. Celebrate, you know, you signing up one person. Celebrate, you know, whatever success it is. Just do it. Just celebrate it. Don't be afraid.
You know, it was funny. Going back to the third part, we're talking together, and I hear a terrible echo. But anyway, go back to what we're saying. Goes back to what we were talking about earlier as far as working together. You know, as far as like, you know, we got each other's back and whatever. But I mean, we've been knowing each other for we're humming around like a year, well over a year and a half right now. So no matter if somebody has some medical problems or whatever, or, you know, some of us are out, whatever, you know, we know each other. So, I mean, we've been around for a while. You know, some people might have come and gone, but that's fine. That's fine. You know, we're still pretty, that's what happens when you hang around people and, you know, get a chance to, it rubs off of each other. You know, it rubs off of each other as far as what we know, as far as tendencies. And this is, again, coming from different parts of the world. funny. You know, so it's also another thing to keep in mind too. Once you do have that type of team atmosphere, as far as okay, we like-minded people, we get a chance to hang around with them too. You know, producing those too. We've had other people too, as far as our guests as well. One other partner we have who lives out in Australia, Alex. You know, I talk with him almost every other day. You know, and this guy lives, my goodness, he's 14, 16 hours ahead of my time right now, and this is the Eastern time zone. So, you know, it's as far as, you know, just working together and just trying to just get it, you know, just making it happen. You know, we've already made the decision, so we're just making it happen. That's it. You know, and the funny thing is too, when we talk about as far as, you know, celebrating successes, you know, it's something that you can share as well, because below we got a yes, let me in. And I was just looking through this too. I forgot how many themes. As far as you have your own theme for your own blog platform, pick one. This is just some of the different themes. I'm just seeing this for the first time too. I know Patricia's very familiar with this person, Mr. Desmond Soon, who I didn't know he has his own pretty sweet theme as well. But, you know, not bad for something that once you do go below and say, yes, let me in, and it says the $17 for a 2-week trial, give these a shot, you know, for your own, you know, go talk about what you want to share about. As far as maybe, you know, find out, go share as far as what you learned today. You could type this out, or maybe you could shoot a quick video. You can also post it. And guess what? My support. Help you out as far as anything. So another cool thing to have. These are pretty cool.
And the good thing is now our company is, it's even easier to do what we do because we have the Total Shortcut right now that is revolutionizing what we're doing. And the Kalatu Cloud is just amazing. You know, this Get Money Saturday that we had last week was awesome. You know, the features that it has, the things that can do back there, it's amazing, pretty amazing. And when it gets fully up and running, oh my goodness, it's like you're driving a jet engine someplace, you know, and this plane is going to take off, you know. It's just really, really amazing what the back office can do for you. It's one-stop shopping. You don't have to have 20 million other companies that you have to join to have your blogging platform successful. It's going to be tremendous, from autoresponder to your email marketing to the blog itself, the Total Shortcut. It's just amazing. Anybody could do it now, literally.
And it's very simple. Even if you've never done it before, make a decision. Just give it a shot. $17 we trial the theme settings, and then what Patricia mentioned too. Once you do go through like fast start, they have it set up like okay. Boom. Follow the steps. This is even for our real day. You can get it done. Really, to be honest with you, less than an hour time. This being straight forward. You can really get the assignments they have set up Monday through Friday. You can get it done within an hour's time. And then also too, you can also try to pay attention to how we do our own marketing as well, just so you can pick up on your own over time to learn your own strategies. Because Patricia and I, we love shooting videos, and so we're kind of we're videoaholics times. She has more of the images, the lifestyle. I like to just give out ideas as far as maybe personal development, maybe some marketing ideas as well. And I throw in some lifestyle in there too. So you basically get all three as well in one. So that's something also just, hey, is that your exposure too? If you're a business owner, it is even better because it's your own home base. So again, you saw the different theme settings. You pick one. You have to worry about, like she just mentioned, going to pay for this, go pay for this. I don't know how much it is trying to set up your own blog platform by yourself. I've talked with some guys too outside of our community that set up their own blog, and they put out some money. Just being straightforward with you, you know. So basically, this is a cheaper way to help you promote what you want to promote. You know, basically you have your own theme or whatever, and then we also did share as far as different ways to help drive whatever type of traffic toward your particular niche. So we can also help you out as well. So That's what we want to share with you as well. So hopefully you got value from what we did share this evening. So if you did, comment below. Let us know in the comments if you got value too. Like we said earlier to start off, yes, there are different ways to success, the different keys as well. But I mean, again, listening to people that were on stage, you know, you always want to model type of people that we're trying to go where you're trying to go. And these people that we got it from, this couple, Dirk and Mario, from these 5 keys, they're business owners before they join our community. They own a restaurant. So again, you're self-employed. You understand where we're coming from as far as this. So again, we also mentioned talking about working together. Notice I said married couple on stage. So and they don't live in this country.
Right, and also they're from the Netherlands, you know. And I had the opportunity of meeting her when she first came here to one of our events. And she's just so full of life. And it's interesting, our backgrounds kind of were similar. Her mother, I think when she was a teenager, committed suicide. So she had been on her own for a while. I think she had her father, but that's devastating for a woman or a young teenage girl to lose their mother at such a young age. But she met her husband, Dirk, and they started a restaurant business, and they got in debt. And they were looking for a way to get out of debt. They discovered online marketing, and they're in our business now. And they're doing tremendous with the business and making it happen, making it work. They utilize the 5 keys of success that we were talking about, and they made a decision, just like you should make a decision. Yes, let me in. There, that green button below. You should scroll down if you don't see it immediately and click that link and join us so that you could learn how to implement the 5 keys of success for you, because we don't know if you're retired. We don't know if you're a mom on here. You know, you want to stay home with your children. We don't know if you already have a business that might be flailing and you want to look into doing something different and new, and something that can even maybe help an existing business with what you have. Because if, let's say you do have a restaurant and it is pretty much successful, you may have a website, but that website is stagnant. You can't update it daily unless you have a coder or somebody doing it for yourself, or you have the time to do that. That's something that if you have a blog, you can instantly maybe take an hour or less now with a shortcut and post something on it, where you can put it on a few social media sites and be done with it for the day. You can update maybe a new recipe on there, or like I said, I do a lot of lifestyle videos. Andre can, you know, he puts a lot of social media advice on his blog. Whatever it is that you want, or some kind of inspiration or quote, you can put that on your blog and keep on going for the rest of the day. So of course, obviously, there's a little bit more involved than that, but it's a platform to voice what you want to say on the internet. And you can get started today by clicking that link and join us, join our company, join also our team, which is here every Friday. And if you quite don't understand what we're talking about, come back next Friday, and we're going to share some other things with you that will solidify you wanting to join us and be on our team so that we can help you.
Yep. That being said, same time, same place, next week. See you then.